In the back now? Well, we're going to get going here because we're kind of late, but we're going to present, basically it's just a way of thinking about solar. It's no different than solar grid type, but using your own energy that you make to also make your transportation. So my name's Kip Drobish. I have a farm and home in Hills, just north of New Denver. So before I do this, I wanted to go to Norway. Norway is miles, kilometers, eons way ahead of us. Their car fleet now is, this was 2017, I was there for 3 months this spring. Their new car sales of electric vehicles exceeds internal combustion engines now. And the charging infrastructure is installed everywhere. There's lots of government money available to put in charging infrastructure at your restaurant, at your home, at your school, and by apartments. There's like pedestals. So, pretty cool. And here's from May 2018. It's actually affecting the sales of petroleum. It's starting to show up. So anyway, that's where we want to be here in the Kootenays as soon as possible, and everywhere in Canada. But let's see. There's 2 ways to mount solar, or 3 ways. I don't have a picture of the pole mount, but this is a rack mount out in the yard. It's a 13,500 watt solar array we did last summer. There's roof mount. This is an Augusta veterinary clinic. Well, they're as far away from that chimney as possible because that chimney creates a shadow. If you're going to build a house, put the chimney on the north side. Think ahead. Here's some vocabulary for you. Kilowatt hour is a metric used for electrical consumption and building. 1,000 watts of electricity flowing for 1 hour, 1 kilowatt hour. EV, electric vehicle. A battery electric vehicle is mostly what we're referring to and requires charging after 200 to 450 kilometers, depending on the car and its range. Cost of fossil fuel for my Toyota Prius, which is a hybrid, but it has an internal combustion engine. That the only time the battery recharges is on downhills, and it saves some fuel, but mostly because the engine turns off a lot and it's very aerodynamic. It costs $7.11 per 100 kilometers at the current prices around here, which Nissan Leaf, which somebody here may have one in the audience. Goes 20 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, and the standards are between 17 and 22, like for the various cars out there. Got to keep this away from that. Fueling locally with solar, just based on our harvest sun here, it costs about $2.50 per 100 kilometers to $3.50 per 100 kilometers. The way I figured that out is 20-year payback on the solar system and how much energy it harvests. And so over 20 years, the total cost, that's how much you're paying for the kilowatt hours, which are very similar to Nelson Hydro's a little less. It's going to be down around $2 per 100 kilometers. But if you get into Fortis, they have the tiered system, and they're over 15 cents a kilowatt hour, which brings you right into the cost of solar, which brings it about the same. So the psychology I'm just saying is you can think about making your own fuel. It's about the same price as paying Fortis to make the fuel for you. The difference with solar, unless you borrow money, is you're going to buy all your fuel up front, and that solar array is going to last a long time, like 25 years. There may be an inverter that has to get changed at 20 years, but maybe not. They're warranted for 15. Solar panels are warranted for 25 years. They'll last 50 years. They're warranted for 80% of the rated output at 25 years. At least the ones I sell, they are. Not all of them are. So how long will your hydro rates remain the same? I don't know about Nelson. if they're needing to raise their rates, their infrastructure's kind of mixed, but Fortis and BC Hydro have projections to continue raising their rates. 2 to 4% a year, it seems like, with Fortis and BC Hydro, if you look back for the last 8 years. And solar is a fixed price upon installation. There's very little maintenance with solar. You might wash the dust off it in a dry year like this, or ashes if they're landing on it. The electronics, yeah, operational life 15 to 30 years. Solar modules warranty 25, but they'll operate a lot longer than that. Cost estimates are based on 20 years payback. So thus far, the electric utilities are having to net meter your solar energy, your solar electrons, as they flow through your wires, meaning you can use the grid as a battery. The meter that's on your house is the gateway that measures at the accountant. It's measuring how much is leaving your home and back to your neighbors. It pays you for it, counts for that, and then how much you purchase in the evening or in the winter or cloudy weather. So when you're charging your car on a sunny day, it's going directly into your electrical house panel and charging your car from the sun. If you do, yeah. I think there's a lot of information there, but if you are understanding net metering at all, it's pretty simple. It's a bookkeeping thing on a meter that accounts for outflow and inflow. And utilities are required by the BC Utilities Commission to do net metering up as much as the amount you consume. Above that, they can charge you, or they can pay you a very low rate or pay you nothing for the extra power if you make more. Very unlikely that you would put in a big enough solar system to make more power than you would use, unless you're in a very conserving house. And if you have a car, you're going to use more because you have a car. And another way to do it is to encourage some of these big buildings, if you work in an office building, to put solar on the roof and have the employees get free charging as a perk. It's very satisfying. It is a wonderful feeling to know that the sun is shining and your power is coming from that. It's greater than the value of money. It's one of those things that lowers blood pressure. Another statistic I'm just going to throw in here is some studies done in California between 2010 and 2014. They found that homes sold 80% faster when they had solar. They also found that the extra cost of the solar on the house yielded it recouped the value of the solar as well as earned a premium. So if you're thinking, gosh, I'm going to invest all this money and it's going to outlive me and my house is going to sell, well, it will sell at a premium, and that's from statistically anyway, unless Canadians are very different than Californians. So that's kind of a nice thing to know as far as marketability of homes. And I've had 2 homes here now transfer ownership or sale that had solar. One was in the Cusp Veterinary Clinic. It definitely was one of the reasons why they wanted to buy the business and the home. And another one was here in Beasley, and it sold very quickly, and he accepted the asking price. There was no difference. So that's an example right there of how 2 examples where it held true here. So this is my contact information, and I have business cards on the table out there. So yeah, get an electric car. If you have to drive, if we get electric buses and public transportation, that's probably even better. But yeah, okay, thank you. All right, thank you, Ken.